Sorry about the disjointedness of the stream, but I am not able to change my orientation to horizontal anymore, so I'm going to have to go with this. Or I'm going to have to try another setup. So I might not be able to show everything on the tray. And I'm not able to change the chat settings right now, so we'll just have to go with it as it is, I think. But anyway, what I have tonight is one of the 3 2018 pack Sopakco low sodium rations. This is in the same type of packaging that is now common to all AmeriQual packed MREs and most Sopakco ones, and the newer packaging of the halal MREs. These do not have menu numbers like your standard issue mil-spec MREs, but they are made with probably 99% military spec components. These used to come in the thicker, clear style bag with the peelable seal, but now they're like this. So a little more difficult to get open, but right off the top, yeah. That Tootsie Roll's seen a bit of heat, and now, instead of using the brown spoon that you would find in a standard MRE, you get a shorter white one or off-white one. I guess they're going less expensive. Got apple jelly, so there will be something to put that on. These are the standard crackers that you would find in US MREs, sometimes MCWs. A little bent, so if they break, so be it. And here is the entree itself. And a retort pouch that will go into some boiling water that I got on the stove. The flameless ration heaters, and this one has something on it, so something leaked. I'm going to set that off to the side. Doesn't feel like the grape jelly leaked, or the apple jelly, but something leaked. Got strawberry toaster pastry, also known as Pop-Tarts. And it's just stamped on there, not printed like the crackers. Two apple jellies, somehow. And this is the leaker. Sometimes you get a little oddity with these that'll happen in packaging, where you get double of an item and there should only be one, or there should have been peanut butter and a second jelly got slipped in, or you don't get everything that it's supposed to have. And this is the sleeve that if you were to use a flameless ration heater, you would put that in there. That would somewhat retain the heat, or you can fold this up and to kind of close up the bottom. That doesn't really work for eating it unless you cut it across this way, as a tear notch goes across this way. But this has the nutritional information for the chili mac, nothing on the back. These do not have as many calories as the other standard MREs do. In fact, this one did not even have a cold drink option as well as a hot drink option, so I will have to go get something to fix that. Just like the halal MREs, you do not get a hot drink option, but they at least have a cold drink option sometimes. But this is the better apple jelly. This sleeker. That one may not be usable, so that one might just have to go into the trash. In fact, I'll stick it back inside here. So because I do not have a hot drink option, I couldn't remember if this would have a cold drink powder or not. So I didn't pick one from my stash. So I'm going to have a Polish tea. I am going to use a Walgreens bag for getting rid of the trash. These are not the standard accessory packets that you would find in a mil-spec MRE. But one thing it does have that the mil-spec ones do not, you get an actual napkin, getting the shorter spoon. Not bad quality. It'll still be good to add to my collection of plastic utensils that I save for times when I cannot have enough water to wash my regular ones. So you get salt and pepper. These are commercial packs that you would get from a food service company. And this is salt-free seasoning. And I'm going to hold this up. Might not be able to read that. See, Nana Styles, there is Mike Crusher, Cold War Prepper, Spicy Tuna Rolls is here. Some Gil Camp Patton Family Compound. Thanks for dropping in. I do not like this not being able to change the orientation of my stream. And that's a real bugger about this change. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this into the kitchen. then I'm going to take a little extra time to dig out one of my drink powders. And then I will also come back with the hot water for that Polish herbal tea. I took the kettle back into the kitchen just to get it out of the way since I'm still using my small TV tray, which I started using when I first got into doing these ration reviews. This mug has a delicious logo. He sent it to me a while back. Now for my cold drink, I think Cold War Prepper might appreciate this. I hope you can read that. I don't know if you are familiar with these. These are a whole lot better than some of the other Russian drink powders, and the other ones were so moist and hard to mix. These are a lot easier to mix. They don't stay clumpy. And they do not look anywhere near as gaudy as American drink powders. This one has a lot of sugar in it, so it may take some time to dissolve. Yep. When I said it, yeah, I hope you're not sure if you're familiar with it. I'm not what I meant was I wasn't sure if you were familiar with that particular brand or any if you've had any Russian rations yourself. This is a Russian peach flavored drink mix. These Sopakco low sodium rations do not come with the drink powder. No drink option of any kind. So I couldn't remember if they did or not, so I had to dip into my stash. Oh, when they sealed the Pop-Tart inside here, they almost sealed the inner packaging into this. But this feels like a double-stacked Pop-Tart that has been fused. Yep, you can see where the two have been compressed together. There's no way you're going to be able to separate these. And the icing that is on top has literally been bled through by the strawberry filling, so it looks really weird. Well, I've had some of the other flavors of the pear drinks, and I really like them. I'll take them over U.S. Emery drink powder any day. Little hiss from the crackers. Yep, it already broke inside here, but that's okay because I will probably be putting some of this into the main anyway. Got cracker crumbs escaping. Yes, they have a shorter shelf life, but they do not use a whole lot of preservatives. Not a whole lot of artificial colorings and stuff like that. It looks like this Tootsie Roll was already partially opened. This thing got squished. I may not be able to eat this thing. Oh, yeah, it even soaked through the cardboard. This thing took a whole lot of heat stress. And I'm guessing it was from when my apartment got superheated while it was being dried out after it got flooded way back on March 31st. No thanks to what the nuthead who used to live above me did. Yeah, that is going to be a problem. That Tootsie Roll is going to be a problem, but oh well, I'll leave it there. Yeah, I've had a few different Russian rations. The only ones I haven't had that I'm interested in trying, it's a civilian called Week of Life. They're supposed to be a 24-hour ration, but you don't get a whole lot in each one. I would consider it more of like a survival thing. But they are freeze-dried entrees. I have had a couple other Russian ones that were freeze-dried entrees, but those particular ones are not in production anymore. And I plugged my phone into a power bank right before starting it, and the phone itself is already fully charged, but that's just to make sure I don't run out of juice, because streaming takes up a whole lot of juice. So again, I apologize for not being able to show the full width of my tray, but I no longer have the option of choosing which orientation it goes in. You used to be able to change between horizontal and vertical, but it's just not letting me do that anymore. I think that's a change that a lot of streamers will complain about. But anyway, enough of that. I'm going to go get the chili mac out of the kitchen, and I'll bring it right back. I am back. I'm drying it off with a paper towel. This is what I do before I open one of these. I shake it so the food is down as low as it'll go before I open it up. Didn't quite open up all the way. There we go. Sometimes these don't rip the greatest. But you just got to make it work. The very first time I actually used a flameless ration heater away from home, and so far the only time, was one of the first times I volunteered doing the kids' crafts at the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow that I've been a part of since I think 2017, and now I'm on the planning committee for it. It's very hot. Is at the Iowa State Fairgrounds here in Des Moines, and I took an MRE bag along with me, and I just had a retort pouch like this. I got the flameless ration heater going, and it was already hot outside. But that thing made it so hot that the bag, the FRH bag, literally melted to the MRE bag. Got a little bit on the apple jelly packet, but here is the chili mac. But it looks like they have changed the pasta. Oh, no, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the spaghetti. I will have to correct the title later. I thought I grabbed the chili mac, but I grabbed the spaghetti. So totally my bad. I can't edit the title till after the stream ends, but the chili mac and the ravioli, all three of these that I have are from 2018. So again, I apologize. It's spaghetti, not chili mac. But the spaghetti is a good one. The sauce is pretty thick. It does taste like your typical canned pasta sauce, but some of it can be super sweet. This one is not super sweet. Yeah. So, but the spaghetti is a good one. Of course, I would be throwing some Parmesan cheese on it because that's how I like my spaghetti, but I'm leaving it as is. You can definitely tell the pasta is very, very soft. It almost melts in your mouth when you go to start chewing it, but you can taste the tomato flavor, which is nice. My air conditioner cycling off. You know, that's just what they do. Gonna have a drink of my Russian peach. That's got a light peachy flavor. I'd probably put a bit of too much water in there, but again, it's not so heavily flavored like an American drink, and we don't get peach flavored drink mixes in US rations. Yeah, the ration packers here need to find some new drink flavors. I think everybody's getting sick of the current ones. This cracker breaks so much easier than the crackers that I had in that older Amory that I had last week. They came out almost entirely intact, only one little chip, so to speak, but this breaks so easily. And I think the older one had a little bit more flavor too. Now this is not bolognese. Some of the ingredients that would make it a bolognese would not be in here. My Norwegian Arctic field ration, which is a pasta bolognese, that would have more of the ingredients that would make it closer to a real bolognese sauce. Because that one's a vegetarian one. But I'm glad that this one is not excessively sweet. Who knows? Maybe I'll open up that Norwegian bolognese one next week. Or I could do my MCW, which is the seafood chowder. I really do like that. Some don't like it, and some can't eat it because of some of the ingredients. For instance, my mom would have to be careful with it because it does contain shrimp and other shellfish. She has to watch how much of that kind of stuff she eats. So only a few times a year she will actually have something like that. And then not too much of it. But I really do like the Mountain House seafood chowder. That one should be packaged for sale to the public. I think that is one of the few Mountain House entrees that are not available to the public. And I heard some noise that that particular menu is not in production or has been replaced. I don't know because I haven't seen a new lineup for the most recent production runs of Meal Cold Weather. Sometimes I can get lucky and find them on eBay, but that is a lot harder to do because of the customs problem. You run the risk of having customs raid it and take any meat items out unless it's a fish item. Or in the process, they are not very careful when they open a package. They just slash right into it like they're destroying some kind of very illegal item. Hugo Homestead is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. The title says Chili Mac, but I grabbed the wrong one. So this is the spaghetti with meat and sauce. It is the low sodium civilian emery that Sopakco does. I'll correct the title after I close out the stream. But I do have the chili mac. So again, I do apologize for that. And I apologize for the first attempt not looking like anything worth watching because I was attempting to change the orientation so I could have it horizontal, but instead, YouTube has taken away the ability to change the orientation of the phone that you would be streaming on, where you can only do vertical, and I don't like that. Because as you can see, it doesn't show everything unless I raise my phone mount so high that it's hard for me to see the chat, and I cannot select my chat options anymore. I did not see that, so there is something going on with the streaming setup. It's really going to tick off anybody who streams directly from YouTube instead of using something like StreamYard or Melon or XSplit or OBS or any of those other programs that you can stream directly to YouTube from them. I have never done streaming on anything other than the YouTube platform. I've only used XSplit on a computer for video editing and then uploading. I have OBS, but I really haven't messed with that much. And I have them on my laptop, but laptops are so hard for me to use because I can't separate the screen from the keyboard and position both where I want them. My desktop computers, they're both good only for charging things up. Just for the heck of it, I'm just putting some of the spaghetti on a piece of cracker. The crackers having little flavor at all, they really don't do anything for this. The older crackers, like the ones I had last week, whole lot better. It's a Polish lemon tea. To Carlos Perry in the house, thanks for dropping in. Again, the title is not correct. I will fix that. I grabbed the spaghetti instead of the chili mac. I might even change if I made the same mistake in my post that I put up earlier. Again, these low sodium emeries do not have menu numbers. They're in a clear bag, and you see this to see what it is. Just like the halal emeries, you don't get menu numbers. They're just in a clear bag, and you can see what the main entree is by looking at this. But this is a double stacked strawberry Pop-Tart. It gets compressed so much that the filling bleeds through, even through the icing. And there's no way you're going to be able to pick that apart. Now, you're late if you're seeing it for the first time on replay. You can see the layers. I broke it open so you can see inside. It's just all pink. That's how you have to eat that Pop-Tart, because it's compressed so hard that they've been fused, just like some of the sesame bars that you get in British rations and some other rations. They're fused together, so you can't separate the layers without breaking it apart. So I would just eat those just like this. Got a pocket knife down there handy, so this is what the apple jelly looks like. Doesn't look too bad. It still tastes perfectly fine. But this is the Tootsie Roll. The oils in it have soaked through this little cardboard sleeve that it's going to be very difficult to get that out of there. I've had these since before my apartment got flooded. In fact, they arrived during Ramadan, and I wasn't doing my reviews then. And for those that have not seen my videos on what happened or forgotten about it, on March 31st, just like any other day during Ramadan, I had gone to the mosque to work on the evening's community room setup and food prep. And it was sometime after that, the person who used to live above me somehow had their kitchen sink stopped up, and the water was just, the faucet was turned on full, and the water was just allowed to run for hours and hours. And it came down, messed up my apartment, messed up the apartment below me. But I did not know about it until Monday morning, because at that time, the last 10 nights of Ramadan, some people will literally spend the night in the mosque after the late night prayer. And then we have another super early morning prayer. And then we eat a very early breakfast before first light. And then we pray the morning prayer. And then after that, people might lay down for a little bit, or they just take off to go home, shower, get ready for work or school or whatever. And so I had done that. So I come home. There's a guy from the property management company saying, "I've been looking for you." And I thought, oh crap, I done something really bad. I might get booted out. And he said, "No, you got a major problem up there." So apparently the company had been notified about the leak, probably from the person who lives below me, because she had seen it sooner than I did. So he said, "You got a problem, and it's bad." So when I came up to see what he was talking about, if my jaw had been any lower, it would have literally been on the floor. And I'm sure his was the same way. Yeah. Yeah, it's spicy. It's probably hot and dry. That would be my guess, is you're not getting the rain that you all need to douse some of those wildfires that are going on. That's just my guess. But yeah, my apartment was an absolute mess. The carpet did not get replaced, but they had to, but before they could do any repairs, they had to suck the water out. They had to run these huge high-powered fans. They put heaters in. They turned my heat on full blast. The air unit that I got in my wall is a window unit that does both heat and cool, so they turned the heat function on full blast, in addition to running the heaters that a contractor had brought in order to try to help dry it out. And it took probably a week and a half just to run those. And then they did the ceiling, but then there was a problem with the wall where my sliders, and they had to dry that out and then fix that, and then that wall got repainted. Now, heat. See, if it is not, if it was not dried out in the way that it was, the mold would have just gone crazy in here. There was some mold in the wall, but it had just started to form. But because they put a fan on it aimed right at the portion of the drywall that they cut out, that took care of that problem. But the faster you can get a space to dry out, the less chance of that mold developing. Or, stop it in the process. And then they put a primer on the wall where it needed it. Or they just used a coat of the white paint as a primer, just put a couple of coats of paint down to deal with that. So that's how the mold got stopped from forming. And then a lot of my stuff that was in here got put out onto my deck, plus in my bathroom and in my kitchen. So for a while, it was very difficult to even use my toilet. But then I was able to get some stuff out of there. And for a couple of nights at the end of Ramadan, when we had our Eid celebration, which is the day after Ramadan ends, the night before that and then that night, I spent a couple of nights in a hotel because I had to put stuff on my bed. There's Booger Butt and Booger Butt in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Hope all is well with you and Dave. Or no, you and LJ, sorry. Dave is the dad, LJ's the son. Yep, this is the spaghetti. The title of the stream is wrong because I grabbed the spaghetti instead of the chili mac. But the soy flour, they added that in order to boost the protein. So it's not just meat, but if it's just spaghetti with meat and sauce, yeah, that's actually better. This is not bad. But if it doesn't have that soy protein stuff in there, that's better. But I'm still going to chow this down. Yeah, thanks for dropping in. Getting Cold War Prepper. He does some book things on his channel. He does prepping hauls on his channel, just like I do. But I think he does it more. He does it more frequently than I do. But it's to give you ideas on what you can add to your supplies. Got apple jelly here. This came with 2 apple jellies, and I think that was a mistake that the person on that particular line at the Sopakco plant, either grab the extra apple jelly instead of tossing in a peanut butter, or just grab two jellies at once without really paying attention. And sometimes that happens with these. You get an error that came from packing. I've had that with some foreign rations as well, get something that is not correct. These low sodium meals do not come with any drink options, so I have a Russian peach drink. Very light in flavor, and it's not obnoxiously colored. And then I have one of my Polish lemon teas, so that leaves me one of those left. And it's in my delicious mug. And for those wondering why the video looks the way it does, is I cannot change the orientation of the stream anymore. YouTube has taken that feature away. When you're streaming from a phone, you cannot change the orientation. So I have to go vertical. It would not let me go live if I had my phone in the horizontal position, so this is how it has to be. So I am definitely going to complain about that more than I am now. And I'm sure other YouTubers are. This is not good for those of us who like to stream horizontal. This is a double stacked strawberry Pop-Tart that has been fused into one. And the filling has literally gone through both sides. But it still tastes like a strawberry Pop-Tart. The other apple jelly sprung a leak, and it got on one corner of the flameless ration heater bag. I don't know how the heck that happened, but it did. And this Tootsie Roll took the heat seriously. Yeah, so I have one packet. This one was fine. The other one sprung a leak, so I put it inside of the bag this ration came in. But as I said earlier, this, I think, really took it hard when my apartment got superheated. And this ration box is actually by my door. That's where it sits. But apparently the heat got bounced around So it hit that. I'll put some of the spaghetti on the cracker. It would be nice if the sauce was a little bit, there was more of it. And of course, I would prefer to add my Parmesan cheese to it, but for this, I'm just leaving it as is. When I was setting this up after I gone live, I could not even change my chat to show whether it be top chat, live chat, or any of that. I could not find the chat setting on my phone screen. So it is the way it is. So I apologize if I'm not seeing every comment that you guys are dropping. So there's got to be some kinks in the system that YouTube has to fix. These crackers, although they're much newer than the ones I had last week, they break a lot easier and they don't have as much flavor. The crackers I had last week, although not my favorite emery crackers, they have a little bit more than these do. And this delicious mug is my new review mug. But if I'm doing 2 hot drinks, I'll bring the foreign MRE mug back out. This apple jelly just wants to come out in little chunks. Of course, I did make the hole pretty small. I'm just squeezing the rest of it out. Sometimes these jellies can be a bit runny. Oh, now that setting to change the chat just now showed up, I could change it to show all messages instead of just top. Of course, I would like to know, how do they decide what's quote unquote top, you know? how does the algorithm decide what comments get to show up and what ones don't? But for some reason that just now showed up. So I may have to play with my phone mount to try different placement instead of the overhead view like you're getting now. Yeah, this vertical thing, yeah, it's fine if you're just talking and not really wanting to show anything that's wide. And if I wanted to show the entire width of my tray, I would have to raise this thing up so hard that I wouldn't be able to see my screen at all. And my phone mount cannot stretch that high. I have nothing higher right here that I could attach it to. I have my old laptop monitor, but it's too thick for it to grip onto. Plus, it's too much of an odd shape the way they make those things, so that's not going to work. Sorry about that brief interruption. And I've also noticed that the chat does not completely fill the screen. I can see through it. I can see what's underneath it. So I can see my hand underneath the words, but when I was able to do horizontal, the chat lines would go all the way up to the top of the screen below my, maybe a couple of centimeter from the top it would stop, because that's where some of the function buttons would be. So this only goes a quarter of the distance above my bottom function buttons up to where my live indicator is. So I don't know if I will have to, and I could angle it. In fact, I could do that now because this thing is flexible. But even with this change in the position, it's angled, I still can't show the whole tray. I can show a tiny bit more of the top. And you can see my drinks. And I'll just have to play with it. And I know other streamers are going to be having to rethink how theirs work. I was not on Smokey Stream last night because I was working a party. I was that I and two other mosques combined to put on. at a school parking lot and yard. So that's when I got home. His stream was just ending, and nah, I'm not even going to bother going in. So I stayed until everything was taken up and away or put away, except for the inflatable things that we had, like a couple of inflatable slides, bounce house thing. We had an obstacle course inflatable bouncy thing. Plus we had other games. We had a badminton / volleyball net set up. We had a couple of ping pong tables that my driver stopped to pick up on the way over here. There is Sean Hack in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And the title is not correct because I grabbed the spaghetti instead of the chili mac. So I will correct that later. And you're seeing a vertical orientation because I can no longer change the camera orientation for the stream. It has to be vertical, I guess. And I don't like that. This is a 2018 Sopakco low sodium civilian ration. No drink options of any kind. I got a Russian peach drink. Very nice, slightly flavored, not too sweet. And as you can tell, not obnoxiously colored. And I have one of my Polish lemon teas in the delicious mug. Strawberry Pop-Tart, which is actually two of them that are fused. The liquid part of the filling just kind of permeated the entire thing. Yeah, for some applications, the vertical orientation is perfect. And for others where you want to show something that's wide, it's not. This one came with 2 apple jellies, not just one. And that has to be a mistake on the part of the particular person who was running that section of the line where you throw in the condiments. So that person either grabbed 2 apple jellies instead of a jelly and a peanut butter, or just grabbed 2, not even thinking, and just threw them both in. And quality control didn't catch that. So the one apple jelly sprung a leak, got a little on the corner of the FRH and on the inside of the ration bag. And then this is what happened to the Tootsie Roll. Yeah, all the way through there, the oil from the Tootsie Roll penetrated through the cardboard. And this took some serious heat, most likely from when my apartment had to be dried out with heat as well as fans and a suction machine to try to soak up suck up all the water that was in my carpet and the carpet pad. Yeah, Tootsie Fudge, so. Off camera after this is done, I'll just scrape it. Yeah, see how it just stretches when I try to pull on it? A little bit of the chocolate I got on my thumb. It still tastes fine. It tastes like a Tootsie Roll, but it's not a Tootsie Roll, it's a Tootsie Flat. Yeah, and this main, as you can see, it has soy flour, the textured vegetable protein, but they just right up say it's soy. That's in addition to the actual ground beef that's in there. It's just to maybe add texture as well as jack up the protein. But at least this does not taste excessively sweet like you might find in some of the canned pastas. Some of those are known to be way too sweet. You want to have savory in something like this, not taste like a dessert. Yeah, it's a cheap filler. But when you buy a case of these, they may say low sodium emergency meals. So these would be a good option for emergency food storage, but they're obviously not meant to be long-term food storage. But if you were in a disaster situation and you had these, you had no way to prepare any food, as long as you got water to make yourself up a drink, or just drink straight up water and to put in the FRH, yeah, you could do this. Well, actually, the newer entrees in the HDRs, they have a lot better flavor than the 2012s. Those so-called smoothies, which are basically puddings, you almost have to have a spoon to eat it, or just suck it right out of the pouch. Yeah, they're too thick to drink, but they are very interesting. They don't taste nasty. But the menu variety is a bit lacking in those. Of course, they don't include any drink options either. And I wouldn't call that smoothie a drink. I would call that a pudding. So these low sodium Amories don't include any drink options either, which I don't get that. And of course, the U.S. halal Amories don't include a hot drink option, and that I don't get. I mean, did someone tell them that hot drinks are not halal? Because that's definitely not an issue. Yeah, I know a whole lot of Muslims who like their coffee and their tea. I just happen to be one of them. But for what these are, the flavor in these is an improvement over the last low sodium Amories I had, which were packed in 2012, and the best buy date on the box was 2016. And that's the box that I'm using as my ration storage box. I have never seen those. I have seen some other ones shown by other YouTubers that are supposed to be disaster rations, but they are made up of items either acquired from wholesale suppliers or just bought from like stores like Sam's Club, Costco, BJ's. And they have a couple of small cans of an entree, maybe some kind of bars like a granola bar, maybe a drink mix, and some snacks. But I have never seen any of those out. Of course, I'm not actively looking for those. But it would be interesting to see one of those with that particular name on it. I have tried one of the 8-pack ready meals. That was an older one. That one was not bad. Those are the Ameriqual's version of what Sopakco does with these. I don't know if Warnick does one. Oh, heck no. I mean, there are other reviewers who have reviewed halal rations. Steve 1989 has. And I think Emery Ancient. Or no, Me Ancient. Yeah, it's Me Ancient. He always prays before he and his review partner dig into the rations they review. I mean, it's just food. So if that's what you do, that's what you do. Gonna have another swig of my Russian peach drink. After all, Muslims will say a very short invocation of Allah's name before eating. It's almost always done silently. But if you get a hold of some of the newer halal MREs, I think you'll find some of the snack items in there very interesting. And there's a fly trying to get my tea. I don't go for that. So I had to make sure it took off instead of drop into the tea. Yeah, some of them can be repetitive across the menus, but the snack flavor and quality has definitely improved. The packaging has definitely improved on the snacks. All of them are in something like this, which is a better quality package than just a super thin, shiny bag. This is the one that the Pop-Tart was in. And because the Pop-Tart was double wrapped, this is all clean inside. But with the halal MREs, you have, if you want a hot drink, you got to dig it out of your own stash. But I do like, I think there might be a couple of the halal MRE menus that I have not had. I have not tried a ratatouille MRE. That is one US MRE menu I have not gotten a hold of. I want to get my paws on one of those. So hopefully I will before this year is up. Maybe I'll just have to try to find that one on eBay, put it in my watch list. I'm not going to buy any rations in July. I'm going to wait till after I get back from my family trip to buy some. I have two more of these low sodium MREs. I have the chili mac and I have the ravioli. I have a vegetarian Norwegian Arctic field ration, the pasta bolognese. I really enjoyed that one. That was the site where I bought that one. That one was the only menu that was still available, so I just grabbed it. And I have the seafood chowder MCW. I really like that one. I wish Mountain House would put that in one of their retail pouches so that anybody can buy it without having to buy the ration version. But I do like that seafood chowder. Some don't like it, some can't eat it because of the shellfish ingredients. But that's on them. But I will definitely enjoy chowing down on that one. So next week I will probably either pull out the Norwegian Arctic field ration and fix up that pasta bolognese, or I may go for the seafood chowder. And then after that, I'll pull out one of the other low sodium MREs. Then on July 26th, that's the start date of my family's annual trip to Lake Icaria. So we will leave July 26th and we'll come back August 2nd. So it's an extra night than in the past. It's just what my one sister who booked it, not last year, but the year before, that's how she was able to get in roughly the same time period and to get the same 2 cabins we go for every year. We're still having to book 2 years in advance. So next year's trip was booked. And so this year, we will book for 2026. Whether that is still Lake Icaria or we choose to go somewhere else. But I'm just letting you know now that 26 is when we are skipping town. So obviously I won't be doing a review. Signal out there at the lake is spotty at best. So if I do any kind of video shooting, it's just a short clip. And then I just upload it. Either when I can get good enough signal, or if I can't upload from there, then I just upload when I come home. But the lake has memorial benches all around it, and they've added some new ones in the past few years. So you pay the county parks department a fee. You tell them what you want on the bench, like who you're dedicating it to. Maybe a short saying, if you like, and then they will put it on a bench. And then those benches are looked after by the Parks Department. So a few years after my dad died, my mom had his name put on one of those benches. So that's been there over 10 years. Maybe 12 years. I can't remember when she did it. My dad died in '08. And Lake Icaria, the lake and the campground, is a place where he spent a lot of time as a kid, even before the lake was created. When it was simply a park and campground. But then after the lake was created, that became one of his favorite fishing spots. So that's our time to go there, get out of the city, spend a whole lot of time wetting hooks. Each cabin has its own fire pit, so we cook a couple of our meals over the fire, and of course have to do s'mores. Shadow Scout Suite is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. The stream title is incorrect. I grabbed the spaghetti with meat and textured soy flour, TVP, textured vegetable protein, in sauce. This is a 2018 pack, low sodium MRE done by Sopakco. These do not have menu numbers. These do not come with any drink options, so I dug into my stash, and I got a Russian peach drink. As you can tell, not obnoxiously colored like the U.S. MRE drinks are. And this is my delicious mug. Came all the way from Poland with a Polish lemon tea in it. I really like these. So my spaghetti is gone. Crackers are gone. Had apple jelly. I put 2 apple jelly packets in the bag, and one of them sprung a leak. And this is a double stacked strawberry Pop-Tart. See, it's fused together. Very tightly compressed. There's no way you're going to pry those two apart, so you just basically eat it as if it's one. And the liquidy ingredients just went all through it. But it still tastes like a strawberry Pop-Tart. And this Tootsie Roll, it took some heat damage. Yeah, all the way through. The oils in it went all the way through the cardboard. And I'm guessing it took that heat damage from when my apartment was superheated. And I keep my ration box right by my door. So when I leave my apartment, it's right to the left of the door, but it still took the heat damage when my apartment had to be superheated as part of the drying process after it got flooded back on March 31st. Now, this is the worst heated Tootsie Roll I've seen. I've seen a few ones that got heated, but this is... Yeah, I'm just later going to have to scrape this off if I want to try to eat it. But this one got 2 apple jelly packets. One of them sprung a leak, so that's in the trash. And this Tootsie Roll is actually partially opened. So when this stream goes to replay and you rewind it back, and you see me opening, or about to open the Tootsie Roll, it had already come open partially. So I don't know how the heck that happened. Or if maybe it happened when it got squished, because this thing was flat. And as you notice, my video is in a vertical format instead of horizontal. I cannot change the camera orientation. YouTube took that setting away, at least when you're streaming from a phone. I don't know about on a tablet. I've never tried to stream from my tablet. I shot a couple of videos with it using my front-facing camera. But I've never tried streaming with it. And with my tablet stand that I found in a thrift store, I could change its position and it would still be very stable on it. Well, this is a typical breakfast item here in the U.S. But they stick this in as a dessert. If this vertical only set up for streaming is the only way that it's going to be, then I might have to play with a few positions of my phone mount. I just changed the angle so it's angled and not true overhead. Yeah, these do have a lot of sugar. The ones that are not frosted don't have as much sugar as you can see. This is the frosting here that did not get completely saturated with the filling. Then there you can see the original color. That's the color that the frosting of the strawberry Pop-Tart is supposed to be, pretty much white. And that's what it's supposed to look like. But some Pop-Tarts don't have any frosting at all, just a filling, so they would have a little less sugar. Now that Russian peach drink, it's slightly flavored. I may have added a little bit too much water. Usually I like to make the drinks pretty strong, but I could not find on there how much water to use, so I just poured some out of my bottle and called it good. The water was probably about up to here in my drinking jar. But I don't think using less water would have changed the flavor too much. But it's not overly sweet. And I don't like some of the obnoxious colors that are found in U.S. Emery drinks. But I do like this peach one. I've had a couple other flavors. They're much improved over other Russian drink powders, which are very moist and clumpy and hard to mix. This one is a very fine, well, it's like sugar, but a lot easier to mix. Gonna take another bite of this. This box that you're seeing here, that's got my Instant Pot in it. It's just where it's been sitting since I was able to get my stuff brought back into my apartment off my deck. I really haven't moved around a whole bunch of my stuff. I've been picking through for a few certain items to send pictures of to the insurance company. I did not include this because it's in the box. It's protected. It did not get hit by the water, but it did get some of the crap that fell off my ceiling. That was easy enough to get off of there. But my new microwave that my brother bought me before Ramadan, after my last one crapped out, I have not plugged that back in yet. That's sitting on the table it usually sits on, but it's not currently positioned close enough to an outlet. And I'm not moving a whole lot of stuff because I'm still in limbo. I have no idea what I can go ahead and rearrange. I have not really thrown anything away other than some bits of boxes that were damaged that had other things in them. I was just using for storage. But the guy from the apartment management company, guys that have been in here, they said, yeah, you're lucky you had a lot of your stuff in buckets, which is how I have most of my food stored up that is not either in a jar or in a can. My boxes of quart size tea bags that I use for making cold brew tea, I thought the plastic they were in would be enough to protect them, and I had something on top of those. But they got compromised. I had sent in pictures of those. I have not thrown them away yet because I don't know if I can do that. I don't know what they say. I can get reimbursed for cleaning up if I have to have some kind of a process or replacement. Yeah, there's Tim Riley in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, these are strawberry, and of course they're fused. And I wouldn't put these in a toaster anyway because this filling has permeated through the outside. Sure, I could throw it on a skillet on a burner and do it that way, but most of the time I don't even toast Pop-Tarts when I do eat them. I just open them up the package and eat them like a cookie. Yeah, my main entree was not the chili mac like the title says. I grabbed the wrong ration, so I pulled the spaghetti one out instead. But all three of these that I have, 2018 pack. And this is the Tootsie Roll. Yeah, it did this. Or more likely, heat did that. And this is stored in a box by the door. So it was not close to any of the heaters that were put on the floor in here when my apartment was being dried out. But my wall air unit that has both cool and heat, the heat was turned up on that to full blast along with the additional heaters they brought in here to help dry it out, along with basically a shot back on steroids to suck the water out of the carpet and the pad, and the other high-powered fans they put in here. So I would come in here to take a shower and change clothes during the last 10 days of Ramadan, because I had been spending the nights in the mosque, not sleeping on my bed. Oops, sorry about that. Let me fix that. I accidentally bumped my cord. But yeah, it was an oven inside here because the heat was so high. And then because of the water damage, my aim was to spend as little time in here as possible doing what I need to do and then getting back out. And because I was spending the nights in the mosque, that made it easy until the last day where Ramadan had ended. But because I had to move some stuff onto my bed, there were a couple of nights where I couldn't even sleep on my bed because I had to put additional stuff in my bedroom. So I was given some gift money. I dropped all that on the hotel room for a couple of nights. And I just had enough to cover that room. And the way the insurance companies work, they'll say you can have $2,000 for housing allowance, but you have to submit for reimbursement. But I don't even know if I'm going to get that returned, even though I had sent in the receipt. I took pictures of the receipt for the room. No additional charges on the room. I didn't eat any meals in the hotel. I did eat one meal at a restaurant. And then I went to a news store in the downtown area called Dollar General Express. I dropped $16 on some stuff to keep in my hotel room. That was enough for a light supper and breakfast in the morning. Plus I had some bread that I took to the hotel. That was divided up on our last iftar dinner during Ramadan, the last community meal we had before the Eid holiday. So I had that in my room. Yeah, I do hope to get something, but this process takes so long. I have not heard back anything from the insurance company since I sent in my last batch of pictures. No additional emails, no texts, no phone calls, so I have no idea what they're doing. And I still don't know if I'm going to be told by the property management company that they're just going to come in and just toss a whole bunch of my stuff, even if it was not damaged in any way. Yeah, insurance is a pain in the dupa. But more apartments, at least as far as I can tell, are requiring their tenants to get renter's insurance. And you don't necessarily have to pick the company that they have hooked up with. but they just want to see proof that you have it. But even before I started this claim, my insurance payment had increased, I think by about $10. But that's automatically taken out of my account at the beginning of the month. Of course, I don't know if I can do any kind of a claim on all the stuff I had to throw away after my fridge went kaput. I did not take pictures of any of that. I did not immediately throw it away. I waited to see if a repair would work. You know, I wanted to leave all that stuff in, especially in the freezer, to see if after the repair, if that stuff would refreeze, and it did not. And anything I put in the refrigerator is actually starting to feel warmer than if I had just left, say, like my water bottles that I keep in the fridge. It's almost better to just leave it out of the fridge entirely instead of leaving it in there, because it was just not getting cold in there. So then the guy came back and said, no, this thing is dead. The compressor is shot. And that's what I originally thought it was, because I had not been hearing the compressor kick on and off like it usually does. So it was after that, that's when I threw everything away. And because I did not take any pictures or video of that stuff, I seriously doubt that I could make a claim for it with the insurance. So I just didn't bother. Yeah, they definitely should. And it would be nice if they would go ahead and give you the allowance up front, or direct pay a hotel for a certain number of nights. But they don't do that here. And if I had not had that gift money, I would have had to find some way to sleep in my apartment. But because I had to put so much stuff in my bedroom, there was just no way I could sleep on my bed. And I couldn't get at my cot to open that up. Yeah, this one would give you like $20 a day for food. But I had only sent in one other food-related receipt, and that had a non-food item on there. So in the email, I said, ignore this item. This is obviously not a food item. Just forget it's not even on there. And I bought a couple of those debris traps for a garbage disposal sink for my mosque because our last one got destroyed. So the newer Oriental food store had a couple of those. I was looking for something else, but they didn't have what I was looking for. But they had these drain traps. So I just bought a couple of those. They were only like $2.50 each or something like that. Really cheap ones. So one's in the sink, one's on backup. Oh yeah, they do. They want to see receipts for meals, or if you cannot prepare your own food or have access to your fridge or wherever you got food. You know, they do want to see that, especially if you do eat out and not have food in your own home. So that's why I submitted the 3 receipts that I did. Now the third one was for use here at home because all my stuff was still piled up against my fridge. Well, not all. I mean, just I still had stuff in my kitchen. I couldn't have a whole lot of it back in my living room yet. Oh, yeah, again, I haven't talked to the insurance company about that. I have no idea of the value of a lot of that because some I got as gifts, or I've had so long I don't remember how much was paid for it. And there are some things that I had, you know, when I cook high-fat meat like my beef bacon or sausage or any meat that has a large amount of fat in it, and I save that fat, I put that in the freezer. So I lost all of that I had in there. I had a bunch of butter in there. Plus some other things that were either extras from the mosque that were no longer going to be used. So I would bring those home for me to use. I had some deer meat that was given to me. One of my sisters has an in-law who hunts, but they don't eat a lot of the deer meat, so they choose to share it with other relatives. My sisters really don't like it, but my mom and I do love deer meat, so they will give some to us. So I lost a package of that. Yeah, I didn't make a claim on mine. But I may go ahead and at least talk to the insurance company about it tomorrow. You know, to see what they'll do, if anything. Yeah, see, I didn't have to deal with any of that. There was no damage done to my building. The trees are too far away. I mean, they're tall enough, but the one sycamore that's right near the mailboxes it just dropped a big branch on the mailboxes, and it smacked one hard enough that it knocked it out of square, so the mail carriers have a hard time closing it after they're loading the mailboxes and taking the outgoing mail. So sometimes they literally have to beat the heck out of that thing to close it back up after they're done. But other than that, nothing else happened here. But that's postal property and not apartment property. Nobody here had to put any claims on their vehicles. And since I don't drive, I don't have to worry about that. And it's been several years before that even since I had a trike that got stolen, and it was inside the building in one of the stairwells. That was before the exterior doors got locks put on them. But then there are some nutheads who would try to disable those locks or bypass them somehow to get in, or people who live here would invite some nutheads to come in and do crap. Yeah, my sisters had, whenever they get hail, they would post pictures of it or put a short video up on Facebook about the hail that they would get. Now, I did throw away a few things from my fridge, but I didn't have a whole lot in there to begin with. I had ice cream in the freezer, but I had taken that out and mixed up with some canned mango pulp and some milk, and I made mango lassi, and then I just threw it right back in the freezer after drinking some of it, and I had no issues after that. So I just threw that back in the freezer, never opened that freezer again until after a while after the power came back. Yeah, that as long as you didn't get bonked in the head if you were sitting in your truck. Yeah, my sisters park, my two sisters who share a house, they park in the garage unless they are loading or unloading, from a trip. My oldest sister parks outside because their garage is just too full of stuff. Yeah, my great niece is 13, so she's not old enough to get a permit yet. In some places, that has happened. I personally have not seen hail that big, but I have seen hail the size of peas or lima beans. Or size of a U.S. quarter. But the smaller hail is the most common. But sometimes that can be just as damaging as large hail because you get more of it. And now someone's in the park shooting off firecrackers. And you can't hear that because they're either too far away for my phone mic to pick up, or it's just not loud enough. But last night before I left a place where I was helping out with an event, I was standing in the parking lot and they were shooting off someone on the other side of the street from the building where we were outside of. They're shooting off fireworks and I could see some of them over the trees. Yeah, I just heard a few pops, but some nights and a few times on some days they've been doing it in broad daylight in the park. I called the police and apparently they say, okay, we'll send someone over there. But I don't know if anyone has ever been caught and arrested doing that or what the deal is, but some nights I just don't even bother calling it in because I don't think much will come of it. Yeah, they'll just put it in their report. I guess because the fine got reduced, people will think, nah, they're not going to bother. And I think more people will be wanting to do it. And Pumpkin is now below my chair. Pumpkin! There's Pumpkin. What you doing, Pumpkin? Going under the chair again. Go for a cat. Oh, sorry about that. Almost disconnected myself. Yeah, just stick it in like that. Yeah. Well, it's starting to pick up now. Some farther east from here is doing it. They're popping more of them off. But a few days ago, I think sometime last week, it was in the middle of the day. They're just shooting a whole bunch of them off in the middle of the park that's here called Stewart Square. I can look through my windows to that park and I can hear it. I may not be able to see it because of the trees, but I can hear it. There's James Ortiz in the house. Sorry I missed your live. I was busy. And you just missing Pumpkin. Yeah, I was just shooting off fireworks again in the neighborhood. And now some people are brazen enough to do it in the middle of the day. No, you have to watch the replay to see her. She made an appearance. And so, James, I made an oops. The title does not match this. I pulled this one instead of the Chili Max, so I'll change the title later. And this is vertical orientation because YouTube won't let me change it to horizontal anymore. Yeah, I heard them start doing it in May. I've heard some people popping off firecrackers, maybe in April. Yeah, I have, this is the 2018 Sopakco low sodium MRE. I have the chili mac and I have the beef ravioli ones. Those are the other two. They're also 2018 pack. And I have the Norwegian vegetarian pasta bolognese. I got the seafood chowder MCW. But this one, I'm glad it wasn't excessively sweet, like some of them have been. But because there are no drink option of any kind, I had to dig into my stash. My Russian peach drink. And one of my Polish lemon teas in a delicious mug. And of course the Tootsie Roll, yeah, this happened to it. And it was even partially opened at one end. So it really didn't take much to open it, but it was flat. Not as flat as this because I pulled it like that, but the one end, this end here was already flat. So heat happened to it. Yep, I still like them. I would love to get a hold of some of the ones that Blind Fox can get in South Africa, but I think those would be very, very expensive and very hard to get into the U.S. unless they're a vegetarian. Then again, I don't even know if those would be easily passed through customs without being opened up. Heck, I would like to buy some of the items that Artpol has on their website. That's the company that does the Polish rations, but anyone can buy their items that they put on their site. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I hope you get to enjoy every single second of those 4 weeks. On the 26th of July, I'm skipping town. Family trip to Lake Icaria. Doing a lot of fishing. Last year I caught a few, but none of them were keeper size, so they all went back into the lake. The only keeper we had on the stringer was nabbed by a heron. Blue herons have been making easy pickings off of the fish that people would have on their stringers. So they are taking easy meals. So that's what happened to one of my nephews. Caught a fish, had it on there, and it was a nice, really nice sized catfish. That heron got it. And the only reason why we know it was a heron that got it was somebody was still out. Now, it was early morning. I think either one of my nephews or my brother had gone out to start fishing early before the rest of us got up, and he saw the heron take that fish. Ooh, someone dropped a super chat. That is LC doing that. Thanks for dropping in, and thanks for dropping that super chat. That's much appreciated. That's Canadian dollars. Yeah, I made an oops on the title. I grabbed the spaghetti instead of the chili mac. I'll correct that title later. It's still one of the 2018 pack low sodium MREs that were delivered during Ramadan. So I couldn't dig into them yet. But then, of course, the flood happened, and that delayed me starting up the streams again. Because there was nothing but mess and chaos for so long. And when I set this stream up, I discovered that I can't change my camera orientation to horizontal anymore, so that's why it's vertical. And it's crooked, but I just stuck the phone back in the mount after giving you all a look at Pumpkin. But I do appreciate that super chat. That will definitely help. So next week I may pull out my Norwegian vegetarian pasta bolognese, or I could pull out that seafood chowder that I got, that MCW. I like that seafood chowder. And then after that, I'll probably pull one of my other low sodium MREs. But on the 28th of July, I obviously will not be streaming because I will be at camp. And signal there is very spotty. Ooh, Shadow Stout, sweet dropping that 50 kroner super chat, super sticker. Says keep it up. That's much appreciated. I had never seen that one before in anyone's chat. That's pretty awesome. So that's equivalent to maybe around $5, give or take a cent or three, depending on the conversion rate. But that little super sticker is kind of cute. The animated ones are really cool. Yep. Like I said, around $5, give or take a cent or three, depending on the exchange rate. But that's still much appreciated. That goes back into the channel at some point for either buying rations, or I could buy a piece of gear to review, or I could use it to pay my internet bill. Or if I need to buy something that would, say for instance, if my phone mount breaks beyond repair, then I would use it to buy a new one. Or one time I bought a new tripod with some of my ad revenue because my other one, the one I had previously, broke. Yep, that is a cute one. But that will definitely go back into the channel in one form or another. I have had this particular phone mount since, I think I got it initially in like 2014. It's one of those flexible arm type that I can just bend it in any direction I want, and then the clamp rotates around. But I put super glue on the collar that wraps around the, I just call it a ball, where the clamp pivots on. or I would say the jaw where the phone goes. I put super glue on that. And then to keep the clamp itself from marring my desk or table or wherever I choose to mount it, I have some folded cardboard. So yeah, I have had this thing for a good amount of time. Yeah, I'm drinking a Russian peach flavored drink because these low sodium rations don't have any kind of drink option. Sweet, but not too sweet and not obnoxiously colored, which I like. And lemon tea in the delicious mug. That's his YouTube handle. And then it has his website there in Poland. PL is Poland. And that is in Polish. Then Delicious also has a Polish channel where he does reviews and other videos in Polish, and I'm subscribed to that. But I don't get to see too many of those videos because I don't always get notifications, and because he's there on the other side of the pond, they may go up when I'm in bed or I'm out, and I just don't see it. But I do watch them, even though I don't know a whole lot of Polski. I do watch them because I just like to hear the language of my ancestors. I want to learn it. But I got Polish downloaded into my Google Translate. So if I see anything in Polish, I can translate it if I don't already know that word. I will definitely be taking pictures while I'm at camp. So I hopefully will at least catch the same number of fish as I did last year, maybe more. I caught 3. Again, none of them were keepers, but at least I didn't get skunked, and I'm happy with that. So hopefully the fishing will be good this summer. And for what I've seen, I pulled up a 25-day forecast on my weather app last night, and it appears that we could have high temperatures in the 80s Fahrenheit, not obnoxiously hot like last week. Not this past week, but the week before. It was very hot, very humid. I do hope to catch a keeper size. And if enough of us catch keeper size fish, then we'll clean them up, cook them up, and enjoy them. Yeah. Lake Icaria has catfish, the channel cat, blue cat, bullheads. It has bluegills, different kinds of bass, some perch. There's carp in there. Nobody in my family likes to mess with carp. Several years ago, I caught a fatty of a carp. And it was a 5-pounder, I think. That thing put up a fight like you wouldn't believe. But that was one fat fish. But nobody was interested in keeping it, so it went back into the drink. But if it was just me, I would have kept it. Exactly. Yep, same with any of the fish. My mom's favorite is bullhead. That's her favorite fish to eat. I like bullhead too. Just, I like catfish. Catfish is my favorite. I don't care which kind. uh, Give me some bullhead and I'll be a happy camper too. I'll eat perch, I'll eat bass. All of them, I don't care. But even if we don't catch enough to keep, as long as we can catch some, we're happy with that. Yeah, that may be true, but they are fun to catch. They'll make you work for it. Well, that'll do it for that. Mug is empty. It would be nice to be able to just go out on my own or have someone give me a ride somewhere and just drop me off. I have never gone trout fishing. Here in Iowa, if you want to fish for trout, you have to get what's called a trout stamp on your license, and that adds extra the cost to the cost of a fishing license. I've never done that because I have never gone to a river that has trout in it. And as far as I know, most lakes don't. But I would love to go to a river or a stream that has trout in it. But I've never had the opportunity, so I've never gotten a trout stamp on my fishing license. But I do hope to do that one of these days. Yeah, from what I've seen on videos of people trout fishing, yeah, those trout will make you work for it. But that's part of the fun of it. Yeah, when I had that carp on my line, I thought my line was either going to snap or my pole was going to break. That was before I got the rod I currently have now, which is one that comes apart into two pieces. And a couple of times it has come apart, but I've never lost it. But I just put it back together again. And if I lose the hook, put another one on and go back to it. But when we fish, we use worms, or sometimes my nephews will try to catch really small fish to use as bait for the larger fish. But usually we just use worms, and because they're long enough, we can just break a worm in half and put that on the hook, and that's good enough. Now, I have never gone to either of those two. I never fished Gray's Lake. I've been there, but I've never taken my rod there. I fished at Lake McBride when I went camping there with some other YouTubers. Yeah, I'll sometimes put a bobber on mine. Sometimes not. And I might put a small weight on there. Don't get fancy with it. I own other lures, but I've never actually tried to use them. I think other than the rubber worms and grubs, the other lures I have are probably better for river fishing. Yeah, the bank around Lake Icaria has those huge rocks surrounding it as an erosion control. But it makes fishing there very hard because you can snap your line on those rocks very easily, and we have. Yeah, a lot of people like to put their weights away from the hook. I have split shots that you don't have to tie onto the line. You can just move it up and down. I have some others that are work kind of like that, but they have a rubber piece inside it. And I may put that away from the hook. Nation MRE Finds in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Everything is gone except for this Tootsie Flat. Heat stressed. Well, I made an oops. I grabbed the wrong ration. The title says Chili Mac, but I grabbed the spaghetti. This is a Sopakco low sodium 2018 pack. So I had the spaghetti and they put the soy stuff in here. And it had a double stacked cherry Pop-Tart, as usual, fused together. I had 2 apple jellies in there. One of them sprung a leak, so that one went into the trash. So I had just one for the crackers, but I ate some of the cracker with the spaghetti. No drink option of any kind, so I got a Russian peach drink here. Very nice, I like that. And then I had a Russian Polish lemon tea in here, or not, I'd say Russian Polish, a Polish lemon tea in here in my delicious mug. I have one of those teas left. But this Tootsie Roll was flattened on one end when I took it out of the bag, and it was already partially open. So somehow it got smashed in transit. And because I got these rations in before, during Ramadan is when I actually received them, so I couldn't dig into them right away. I was eating my dinners at the mosque. So tonight was the first night I chose to get into one of those. I did some others. Last week I opened up that older tan bag MRE. The crackers in there, they didn't break so easy. They had a better flavor. The newer crackers, not so much. Back to bed. Oh, did I miss that? Oh, no, not back to bed. It's Monday morning there, so he is up. So we can get ready to go to work. Oh, someone's going to start another channel. I wonder what this is going to be about. I'm missing some of lives because I'm either busy or I just don't get notified when they're coming up. Yesterday, about midday, I blew out of here to go work a party, and I didn't come home till, well, Smoky Stream was almost done, so I didn't even bother going in there by the time I got home. Yep. That's pretty much what happened to this thing. So, because I got these in before Ramadan ended, when my apartment got flooded, they not only used fans and a high power suction system to try to suck the water out of the carpet and the pad, they jacked up the heat in here. So it's almost 90 degrees Fahrenheit inside this apartment. And my ceiling fan went kaput, so I do not have it running. The lights work, but the fan itself is kaput. Another fan that I have placed elsewhere that I use to help circulate air around towards my bedroom, that one's dead. That one did get reported to the insurance company as part of my claim. Can't report the ceiling fan because that belongs to the property. Yep, Tim is taking a trip pretty soon. I am blowing out of here on July 26th. So the 28th I will not be streaming because I will be at the lake and signal out there is spotty at best. I will come back on August 2nd. So I leave on a Friday, come back on a Friday. So August 4th, I will go live. Yeah, Tim, you should, if you can meet up with Dan Cyanide Cookies, I think that would be awesome if you two could have a meetup somewhere. That would be sweet. But Lake Icaria, my late dad's favorite place since he was a kid. He grew up in the town of Carbon. That's where he was born. He went to school in Corning. Well, as I will say it again, and show him the videos, especially the short I put up titled This Mess. But what happened was, and I did describe it earlier in the stream, but I'll say it again. On March 31st, about midday, I hauled tail out of here to go to the mosque and start working on the night's dinner and rooms set up. And taking occasional, prayer breaks. Sometime after that, the nuthead who used to live above me had the kitchen sink plugged up. And the faucet was turned on full force and just allowed to run for hours and hours. And it affected not only my apartment, but it seeped down through into the apartment below me. And she had to have her floor in the living room replaced as a result, because the flooring that they put down, if it gets saturated with water, it warps. And once it does that, you can't straighten it out. You just have to replace it. So that's what they had to do to hers. But I did not find out about it until the next morning, because I had spent the night in the mosque. It was the last 10 days of Ramadan, and some of us spend the night in the mosque, and I did that. I helped with the breakfast that we had before first light, because when we fast, our fasting starts when the time of the morning prayer starts, and we don't eat anything until just after sunset. So we had our very early breakfast and we prayed the morning prayer. I went into I just stayed in the prayer room. I just laid on the floor for a little while before taking a bus home. And I get back home, and a guy from the management company says, "I've been looking for you." And I thought, oh crap, I did something really bad now. What is it? And he said, "No, you have a mess up there." And apparently he had seen it. So I go up there, and if my jaw was any lower, I would be picking it up off the floor. And I'm guessing when he first saw that mess, he was probably picking his jaw up off the floor. Yeah, it is a cheap laminate, made to look like wood. I mean, it looks nice, but as far as durability, well, you get what you pay for. But they had some of that same stuff available to make her living room floor look the same as it was before. I still have the old carpet from before 2020, when these apartments were renovated after they had been vacated. They did not kick all of us out to completely empty the building before doing that. If any of us were still living here, they just waited till a unit got vacated for whatever reason. And for a while I thought I was going to get kicked out and have to take another one, but nope. First time, when the one next to me got emptied, I said, I will take that one, no problem. It'll be the fastest, easiest move ever. But nope. It sat empty for a while after an eviction. And they let someone else have it, not even told me until after it was too late. So I still have the old carpet. But I guess because it's carpet, they can suck the water out, and they're not going to replace it until I am actually out of here. Of course, after that, my fridge crapped out, so I ended up getting a new one. Repair didn't work. But this fridge I have now, it's a little bit bigger. It sticks out a little farther from the wall. It's a little taller. And it's a little wider. So I can hold a little bit more stuff in there. Now I just have to work slowly at replacing what I lost. Because my freezer was jam-packed. The only thing I saved out of there, other than my ice packs that I keep in there all the time, is I had some yeast in there. The one bag of yeast is a Mylar bag. And then the other is a Ziploc bag full of the packets. So I knew those would be all right. But everything else got tossed. Just finished off my peach drink. Someone had offered to give me some meat, but, well, I'm pretty busy, so it's not going to work at this time. And that was the only time that person would have been available to bring it on over. But I'll replace it eventually. I'll try to pick at this after I go offline. I mean, I got a little taste of it when I ran my thumb across it when I spread it open like this. It still tastes fine. Well, I am basically done here. So I got a few cracker crumbs. I'm not going to let those go to waste. I will straighten this up a bit. Even though there's not much to look at but a flattened out Tootsie Roll. Right, this is my Instant Pot box that you're seeing here. But I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. So I will toss up a post on the next one that I choose to pull out of the old ration box. I'm not going to buy any rations until after I get back from the family trip because I got enough to get through July up through, of course, the 28th. I obviously won't be streaming because I won't be here. But I'll still have one for August 2nd. So or for August 4th, and I'll buy some more rations. Hopefully get some goodies. But anyway, I do want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. And again, thanks to Elsie and Sui for dropping those super chats. It's much appreciated. And thanks to all those who come in for the first time. And those that haven't seen in a while. Hope to see you again. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the flip side.